if you don't look back and you don't look down, how are you going to know how high you've come? Just completed a crazy shoulder session up in the gym, and I thought of an idea for you guys that I think would really benefit for some of you, because it's something I've dealt with in the past. And that is, you get complacent. And not only complacent, you get used to where you're at. You get so caught up in the day-to-day tasks, and you're like, why am I not making any progress? Why am I not getting to this place that I want to be? Or why is this not happening? And it's purely for the fact that you've forgotten how far you've actually come. And you should actually give yourself a pat on the back to realise that if you've been putting the work in and you feel like you're not been getting anywhere, you actually have, but it's been in unforeseen, minute ways that really will compound over time as long as you keep the ball rolling. Now, to compare this to my own life, I moved out here to Bangkok, Thailand at the age of 22 actually. And yeah, it was a massive jump. I quit my job, I put a lot on the line, I've risked all my savings to come here, and threw a good career out the window for hopes of perhaps, not perhaps, but certainly a better life to help more people out, which is closer to my actual goal. But in the meantime, I got so caught up in my day-to-day life and the things that I'm doing at the moment, trying to constantly improve and constantly reassess my situation and tick the boxes and get everything done, that you realise how far you've actually come. And it's not just like the little things, it's everything. It's the complete mindset shifts that you forget you've made, or the habits that you've crushed, and the bad people that you don't spend time around anymore. If you don't look back and you don't look down, how are you going to know how high you've come? Now, people say that don't look back. In effect, is true, because you don't want to consider reverting if you know that there is a possibility of converting, if that makes any sense. You want to keep looking ahead because ahead is the way, and you want to keep developing, but at the same time you need to be realizing how far you've come so you can have a little bit of satisfaction. You need to give yourself a pat on the back sometimes, or else you're just going to go mad inside of your own head, built up in a world of competition and tasks and to-do lists and schedules and meetings and being on time and eating the right foods and going to sleep, and all of this is going to get too much. And you're just going to have to sometimes shut the phone off, sit back and just think, yes, we're doing all right. Although we're not a crypto 20-year-old millionaire, things aren't too bad. And even if you work a 9 to 5 right now and you're listening from your mum and dad's house, and or potentially you haven't got parents, or you've got one parent, or you've got two parents and they're split up and it's not an ideal situation, things could always be worse. Things could always be a lot worse. You got to remember that you've probably got 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes to see, and things aren't that bad. So as long as you're in the game and you're playing for the next couple of years, look back, turn around and think back. We're doing all right, boys. We're not doing too bad. So you've got to check yourself sometimes and think, right, although we need to put the work in, we need to look back and think, okay, this is improved, this is improved, and this is improved. And this is why I preach journaling. Because our minds are so crap at remembering things. Or you might remember the key things, but you'll forget the important things that are small. Like the way you were feeling on some days, and the way that certain situations ended up, and the outcomes of certain things. You'll forget 90% of the things. And if you go back and read a diary from even a couple of weeks ago, it's crazy how much you change in such a short space of time. The way that you react to things, the way that you look at life changes so fast, especially if you're living on your own and you don't really get to talk to people about things. Or you perhaps do, but it's all on a surface level. Journaling will give you the ability to write those things down, and then in a few months' time, in a few years' time, look back and think, we've really progressed, because the mind is very good at playing tricks on you. So just remember that. Don't give up. Don't stop just because you think you're not doing as much as you could be. There's always more that you can be doing. So when it gets to a point where you feel like, or where you know that you've achieved a certain thing, give yourself a pat on the back. A pat on the back? Pat on the back. And just realise that things aren't so bad after all. They could be better, and they could be a whole lot worse. If you've enjoyed this video and you like the way I talk, and you want to see a bit more of these delts, I'm going to try and grow them this year, and probably next year and the year after that. Stick around, drop me a subscribe, which will be there, and I'll probably get another video on mindset, fitness, or fun here. So watch that.